Well, February is Black History Month both here in the United States and in Canada, and today's guest specifically serves Black and Native American Catholics. So joining us now is Father Maurice Sands, the Executive Director of the Black and Indian Mission Office. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
All right, Father Sands, can you just first tell us about the history of the Black and Indian Mission Office, which my understanding is it goes back to the 1880s.
Right. Yes, we're actually three different organizations. The oldest one was founded in 1874, the Bureau of Catholic Indian Missions. And then in 1884, at the Third Plenary Council of Baltimore, the bishops established the first national collection, which is today known as the Black and Indian Mission Collection. They recognized that there was a need for more financial resources to serve these two groups of people, African American Catholics and Native American Catholics, who had experienced a lot of injustices and discrimination and were disadvantaged because of that. So that collection was established at the Third Plenary Council of Baltimore. And so today there's one other organization that serves African American Catholics, and the three organizations are overseen by the Archbishops of New York and Baltimore and Philadelphia. So for more than 140 years, the collection has been taken up, and the proceeds are given in the form of grants to parishes, mission schools, diocesan ministry office, and other organizations that serve the two groups of people.
Father Sands, we understand that you're a member of several Native American tribes, which is really interesting.
Yes.
Can you tell us about this and how you were introduced, how you came to know the Lord Jesus and were introduced to the Catholic faith?
Sure. Yes. I am a member of three tribes that are known as the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi tribes. They are in the Great Lakes area. They're actually very similar to one another, have the same language, and their cultures are very similar. We call ourselves Anishinaabe. All Native American tribes have a name for themselves in their own language, which typically means the first people, something like that. And I come from a very, very wonderful family that's very strong in the faith. My first ancestors were introduced to the gospel by French Jesuit missionaries in northern Michigan in the first decade of the 1700s. These are French missionaries who went from Huronia after John de Brebeuf and companions were martyred, and they moved to northern Michigan. And they met my ancestors at a place called Cross Village, which is north of Harbor Springs and Petoskey, in the first decade of the 1700s. So I have very long Catholic Christian roots, and for many generations, my parents, my grandparents, and all my ancestors have been very strong in the Christian faith.
That is amazing that you know the history of your ancestors going back that far and how they came into the Catholic faith. I think that's really cool. And it just goes to show how important the work of missionaries are.
Yes.
So today, how does the Black and Indian Mission Office support dioceses in sharing the gospel and addressing the needs of African American Catholics?
Sure. So our grants are mainly given for activities related to ministry, pastoral care, evangelization, formation in the faith, vocations. And so every year we have online applications that all the different dioceses in the country can apply, using the applications, and also parishes and schools can apply for certain kinds of grants on their own. So every year we give out more than 700 grants. Most of them are bundled, into a large grant to dioceses around the country, and we serve. We offer grants to places that serve the two groups of people that have been around since the collection began and even before. And I know that many of them would not be around today if it wasn't for the collection. So we're very grateful for the generosity of the good people of the Church in the United States who, every year generously give to this collection, and that enables us to, then support ministry all around the country. And we're very fortunate that the overhead in our office is very low, so we're able to give out almost all the money received. We're blessed to have St. Catherine Drexel purchase the building as our headquarters, and so that enables us to, to conduct our business at a very low cost.
How do groups and dioceses apply for those grants?
Yes. Yeah, typically they have their development people or other, people, sometimes people that are involved in the ministry offices for the two groups of people. And, I think there are still a lot of people, including bishops and people who work in the diocese that don't know that much about us and don't know that they could apply for funds to assist with ministry. So I'm glad that, we had the opportunity to create the documentaries and create more awareness to educate people about the two groups of people and also to educate people about the work that our office does.
Yeah. Speaking of the documentaries, this week Catholic TV is airing Trailblazers of Faith, the legacy of African American Catholics, which the Black and Indian Mission Office produced. We have the times that it's running on the screen right now. Today, February 4th at 4:30 Eastern,
Yes.
Friday at 1:30 Eastern, and Saturday at 2:30 a.m. Eastern. There are people awake around the clock. So can you tell us about your role in the documentary, Father Sands, and what people can expect watching it?
Yes. So I wanted to create these documentaries to educate people about the two groups of people, educate the people about our offices, and also in the African American documentary, which is called Trailblazers of Faith, the legacy of African American Catholics, we particularly highlight the 6 candidates for sainthood who are African American, who were the candidates at the time we created the documentary. There's now a 7th candidate, but these are men and women who are people of heroic virtue who've done really incredible work in the church, who faced many hardships and prejudice, discrimination, and in the face of it were very bold and courageous in bringing the gospel to people and ensuring that African American Catholics could be served well and could prosper and grow in their faith and in their relationship with Christ and to be more fully integrated into the life of the church.
It's great to have the
And
chance to meet you.
I don't appear much in the documentaries. My job was to come up with, the stories that we wanted to present and work with the company that produced the documentary for us and to arrange for all the different interviews with people that appear in the documentary.
Father Sands, thank you so much. It's
You're
been
welcome.
great to have a chance to talk to you. And when that collection rolls around next time, I think I will understand and be a little bit more generous to help you out and so that those grants can help other people out. We thank you so much for your work.
You're welcome.
You're not at the USCCB, by the way. Where are you?
No, we are independent. I did work at the Bishops' Conference previously, but our office is independent. And I wanted to mention that the collection is always held on the first Sunday of Lent.
Okay.
So it's coming up soon on February 22nd.
Well, this was perfect to talk to you today. Thank you so
Yes.
much for all of
You're
your
welcome.
work, and God bless you for the rest of this day and going forward.
Thank you very much.